Here again.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary?
You are listening to Kayak Adventure Series. Kayak Adventure Series. This is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore? You want to be shallow? You want to go up the creek? You want to have a kayak that is sophisticated? Or a kayak that is simple? You get to choose your own adventure. Oh, looky there. That's a micro bag. I hope you brought the family. This is going to be wild. Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing. What's going on, everyone? It's July 3rd already. Lines in, brought to you by Sunline. And how's it going, guys?
Going good, going good. How you doing, everybody? What's up, Jake?
It's all right.
It's all right. That's
week away from our big event. I feel like I've been doing so many podcasts the last 2 weeks. I'm just like my brain's mush. Just did one last night for Moyak, which went really well. So
nice. Welcome to my world, man. There are times when I've done so many podcasts in a week or two. It gets like you get a little exhausted from it, So I get it.
Yeah, same thing. I've been beating people away with a stick. It was a chopstick, but no, I didn't. That was my little dad joke. No one called me, but Jake definitely doing a good job hyping the event and a lot of good information. Like, talk about the juice. You guys want to know what's going on? Go check out some of the stuff that Jake's been talking about on these podcasts. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I heard it was a good podcast over there with the Moyak crew, and it sounds like a lot of interest was drummed up. So nice work. I was actually just pretty much since the last time we spoke, I was gone at a family reunion from basically Thursday through, we just got back yesterday on Lake Weiss in the Alabama area, right in the border of Georgia and Alabama. And got a little fishing in with the family with my dad and, fished up a little river, but caught pretty nice little Alabama bass, like a 17, 18 incher, which by the way, the whole
Drew Gregory special, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a nice fish, caught some good ones. The whole Bassmaster Elite Series was going on just further to the west on Smith Lake. And, when I was tuning in on that on the way down and saw the ending too, I was like, and don't get me started, we'll be here all day. I still can't even comprehend how at the highest level of our sport, the experts of all of our sport still call the fish that's called Alabama bass a spotted bass. I don't understand how we at the highest level should be the ones who are the most knowledgeable and know everything, and why we can't trickle that information down like through our anglers and the public. I don't get it. But
there's a lot of just misinformation on that topic, because the amount of people I get telling me that my largemouth are spotted bass and rivers that don't have spotted bass, and I'll catch a Kentucky bass and I'll call it a Kentucky spotted bass, and they're like, no, that's just a spotted bass. I'm like, no, it's actually a Kentucky. We don't have Alabamas up here. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, I guess technically
so much confusion.
When Alabama bass got separated out, everything that used to be the Kentuckys or Northerns, you could still probably call them a Kentucky or Northern spotted bass, but technically those should just be all spotted bass now.
Right.
Like together. So, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know the difference, just come to Ohio and fish, and you'll know the difference. There's no Alabama bass in Ohio.
Yeah, go to the Ohio River and catch these guys all day.
Dude,
long.
I will say, this is an Ozarkana hot tip. There are some really big Kentucky spotted bass in some of these waterways. Now, you won't catch them in the lakes. Well, I don't know about one of them, you might. In the rivers, there are some big Kentuckys. Now, you're not going to catch like 19 inches, but they do exist. They're rare, but
Fish Ohio is 15 inch.
15 inches.
We're excited in Ohio if we get a 15 inch. We get a little pin, pin and a plaque or a.
Dude, I caught a giant. I caught a giant on the St. Francis. He was just shy of 19. He was like 18 something. So freaking giant.
People are chiming in here. That's what these filibusters at the beginning are all for. So what's up to Ryan, Troy, Aaron, Christy? She's ready for something. Probably Ozarkana, hopefully. But either way, she maybe just is ready for the live. Let's see, what is this? Avoiding work responsibilities to watch the stream. See y'all again in Wisconsin. Preston, we'll see you there, buddy. Thanks for tuning
he's one
in,
of the guys
everybody.
that we talked to. We
Yep.
got an interview with him at the ramp off the Muskegon on Friday. Really nice guy.
Nice. Well, we'll see him again. Look forward to that. All right. Well, let's get going. Yeah, news and notes
News and
before we
notes.
bring in some guests. Nice. Jesse is saying Wapapello has some big bass. So
It does. It's underrated, dude. It's underrated.
it is underrated. It is. So news and notes. Today's news and notes, guys. We'll move this right along. Got a great show. A really cool show today. The Upco bike, the e-bike guys that were giving away the $5,000 adventure bike. I got a chance to ride one, and actually in a minute here at noon Eastern time, I'm going to get a text. So if we're still going, I might have to jet, and I'll come back to pick up the delivery from the semi-truck for the demo bike that I'm going to get for the rest of the season to bring with me. But I'm going to share a video file right now of and actually just bear with me because my son, he's the one who filmed this. Oh, is it going to let me? Oh, yeah, I think it will. Now you're videoing. Now just keep it on me, okay? Lift it up. Keep it on data. As I go in a circle, just keep it on me. There you go. It's so sweet. This is up in Michigan.
Go slow.
I'll be coming right back past you.
Wait, is that by that train launch?
Yeah, it is. By the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, I barely hit that throttle. It goes like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Good job, Theo. Good video, dude. Good video. This is sweet. Angler of the Year's gonna win this, Theo.
It's almost like a motorcycle, man. They're like...
It is. It's actually more of if you look at their website, they call them utility vehicles. The company was originally based out of New Zealand. I mean, that's where their still, I guess, home base is, but they have U.S. headquarters as well. But they're like for farm bikes, like working around the ranch and the farm. That's kind of how they got started. Really just utility bikes for land. But now, so they're not even really calling themselves e-bikes. They are legit, like you're saying, a mini like motorcycle. But the winner of the Angler of the Year will win that plus a bunch of other stuff that adds up to, like, I think we were up to around $12,000 or $13,000. That's for AOI. So that means you fish 2 of the 5 regular season events, which is critical to talk about right now, guys, because we are at a point where there's still Missouri, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. So you can still get in right now and fish the next 3 and give yourself one mulligan, even if you wanted to, or at least just fish. Like whoever does well in Missouri should try to probably hit one of the other 2 to get another good finish. So they're heading into broodstock. That final 3rd event, everyone has to fish that broodstock. And that's the 3 events that count for your Angler of the Year and Team of the Year score. And we're paying down top 3 places in Team of the Year and Angler of the Year. So broodstock is going to be wild with $40,000 in prizes. That's not counting the cash that you guys, of course, for the entry fee. So it's going to be fun. And that is
Wisconsin's not that far.
No.
I think it's like, I want to say it's just a little like over 5.5 hours from me. So like even with St. Louis. So like some of those Missouri guys that are like Camdenton, like central Missouri, that's like a 6.5 hour swing up there. So it's really manageable. And it's a cool fishery. Cool.
I really want to go to that one.
That one's getting a lot of hype for sure.
I might try to figure that out.
And we're going at a good time, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think those smallmouth are going to be beefing up. So
real good time. I can't wait. This right here, I'm showing the screen to the Ozarkana basic event information because I want to remind you guys about a couple things. One is down here, the recommended lodging and camping. We have a booking link for the Holiday Inn at Poplar Bluff and the Fairfield Inn and Suites. They've got discounts for you guys, and that's kind of the official hotels where I'll be staying at. Jake, whoever's there from our staff, Jeff Little, the whole team will be there as well. And they've got cameras, like you don't have to worry about your stuff. It's perfect location. So click those links, guys, book with those hotels whenever you possibly can. Obviously, some of you guys might have different lodging, preferences, but if you are a hotel person, please book with the ones who are partnering with us. That'd be awesome. This little foreshadowing, we're going to bring in Steve in a minute, but Kayak Anglers of Missouri and their online July event, and they actually have an online August event too. So we got their logo up there and link to their site, and we'll be talking to Steve here in just a minute about that. But let me remove this before we do. I think we might have a quick. Let's see if Travis is in here yet or not. I don't think he is, not yet. The last thing that Jake wanted to talk about, I'm glad you brought this up, Jake. In our news and notes segment here is the micro bag and team event signups, right? Because you said we have like 6.
Maybe even less.
for micro bag.
And there's 4 team events. And the cool thing about the team events, I don't know if you guys, how many of you follow along, but Weicker and Dustin Hoy, who are in first place, and they're going to fish them all. They're not fishing this one. So if you're in the team event and you want to gain some ground on them.
Is Dustin fishing the solo?
Yes.
I think
he's still fishing, but
is he still fishing?
Yeah, he's signed up.
Yep.
I don't know if he is. We'll see. We'll see if he ends up showing up for this one. I thought maybe he was saying that ICAST is coming. It might be close. And he signed up for them all originally. Signed up for them all, and he may move that. We'll see if he shows up or not, but he might.
Well, we got 40 right now, which is a great number. This is the highest we've been this close or this far from an event. So I'd really like to see us push into the up by 100, because what Whitehall had close to 90. So
yeah, let's break the record here. Let's keep the momentum going. You guys want to we could also, before Travis comes in, since he's not in yet, we could talk to Steve first on our angler spotlight segment, which is really more of a kayak fishing tournament club spotlight than an angler, but Steve's probably an angler too. So
let's bring him in
and do the angler spotlight segment. So, hey, Steve.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Doing good. Doing real good, man. Doing real good. Is that a 2022 KBF National Championship shirt?
It is. I was looking for something to throw on real quick, and
I think I have that shirt
sitting around.
Yeah, I may have one of those too. Where was that one at? Was that?
Well, I'd say you probably have a lot of them.
Yeah, probably. I can't remember where that one was held. Where was 2022?
Wasn't that Kentucky Lake?
I was going to say, I think it is Kentucky Lake that
year.
Yeah,
it's the one where you, it was the one.
I'd have to look at the back.
Oh, yeah, I got
confused
that's
after
right.
a while.
You got like 4th or something.
4th.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. I did. I think so. Yeah, I got 4th. That was a good event. That was the one where it was the most stressful event for me because I was fishing it under this looming cloud of this protest in the Bassmaster Kayak Series for Pickwick. You remember that? And it wasn't settled yet. So I had people glaring at me over there like, is that guy a cheater? That's how I felt. You know what I mean? Like, even though I know I didn't do anything wrong, but then of course it turned out, the what's it called? Protest, the appeal went through. Yeah. And then they like, oh yeah, this guy didn't. Yeah. I had video proof showing I didn't do anything wrong. So it was all good. But anyway, I was cleared. But Steve, we just want to bring you in for a few minutes. We know you got a busy day, just to quickly talk about the KAMO series, the Kayak Anglers of Missouri series that you are president of and are doing a great job. And we are so grateful for all the local clubs out there, the state clubs, and the time and effort you put in to give people opportunities that, what we're doing here, on a national level all around the country, you're doing it all the time and on a local level. So we appreciate you. Want to highlight your club, and hopefully we'll see a bunch of your members and you guys at this event in Poplar Bluff so we can show off, your beautiful lakes and rivers and streams to the rest of the country.
And then Steve, are you going to be hanging out for a while with us? Because we have Travis in the green room as well, and we could bring him in.
Yeah, just get that announcement.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
not a problem. I'm here.
Yeah, let's shake it up a little bit and bring Travis in here. There you go.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Good.
We're going to do the Call Me Maybe segment here. Yeah, you're busy, guys. So we wanted to get you in, make this announcement because last week, Travis, we teased, we had Joey from Crocker Gator pitched in $500 cash to where'd he go? We lost him. He's back. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe. Let's try it again. There you go. We lost you for a second. Sorry. But we had, Joey from Crocker Gator pitched in $100 cash bonus to the next 5 out of the money. So essentially if we have 100 anglers, we're paying out 15%. So now we're going down paying 20 anglers. So we're paying out 20%. And then Midwest Kayak Company got involved with, they said, we'll do $300 gift cards to our shop. And then you guys were like, we possibly want to do something too. So you want to tell us what you're going to do? We're going to keep this payout going way down into the field. We're excited about it.
Yeah, man. We are too. I think you guys are doing a great thing. And I'm sure Steve can attest, in our local area, we have great regional stuff, but you guys coming in, we're proud to be part of it. And we're going to do $500 gift certificates for the next 5 down, we're going to do that, and then we're also part of the partnering with you guys in Old Town on a kayak as well. So we're pretty excited.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the Old Town, which I'm glad you brought that up because we didn't talk about it last week. Old Town, I think it's a 120 something, right?
PDL.
And is it the PDL?
It is the PDL.
Oh wow! See, I wasn't sure originally. I thought maybe it was going to be just the paddle version.
We talked about that last night on the Mill Yard, and I was like, "Wow, that's a huge upgrade."
That's
like
huge. So we are raffling that off for pediatric cancer. So all those proceeds will go to pediatric cancer. We raised, I want to say it was like $1,500 for the new canoe in Michigan. And Georgia, we didn't do as good as we could have there with that Crescent.
Well, that was just a little awkward
Stroley.
with we didn't have, like, it was our first time doing it.
Yes.
I think we did a much better job of having it open for people to come and get the tickets at Whitehall.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So we're going to do that. We've learned we're going to keep trying to raise as much money as we can for pediatric cancer, and appreciate Eco Fishing Shop being a part of that and helping us make that possible with Old Town Kayaks. So you guys are like the biggest Old Town dealer, I think, in the country. So it kind of worked out perfectly. It makes sense. It's a great fit to have Old Town as our official kayak manufacturer for the Poplar Bluff event, Ozarkana. And man, I don't know if you want to chime in anything else, Travis, but we want to at least bring you in on our Call Me Maybe segment, brought to you by Dark Horse Tackle. And you're calling in, not maybe, for sure. You're here. You made it for the announcement, and 500 extra. So that means we're paying out 28 places. If we have 100 people, we'll be paying out basically 30% of the field is going to get something. So that's pretty cool. That's not even counting, obviously, micro bag division, the 2-man team division, other ways to win at the Kayak Adventure Series.
I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of just random prizes, because that's what happened in Whitehall. It's just like, oh, we got this, let's give it away. So
it happens for sure. I mean, big bass, you've got the average angler prize is pretty cool because it's the person who finishes dead middle of the pack. So they're the most average. They win some swag from the aggressively average anglers. So the day 2 dark horse is obviously the person on our site, if you go look at it, who moves up the most spots from Friday to Saturday. Lots of ways to win. Plus now 28 paid places. That's if we have 100 people. I'm just saying 28. That's pretty amazing. So we're excited about it, and we lost Travis again, it looks like. So we'll bring him back in and tell him goodbye, because it's all right. We keep losing you, Travis, but we'll say goodbye. The signal or something's happening here. But thank you guys so much for that contribution and what you guys do for our sport over there, right in the middle of our country. We appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem, guys. Thank you very much. Proud to be part of it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. And then that aggressively average angler, surprisingly hard to track. So for all of you out there that I mean, it's fun. And I love that those guys stepped up on that one live stream we did. But yeah, it's harder than I thought to figure out who.
Yeah, we've got a workaround though, so it's fine. We got it.
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
Well, the day 2 dark horse was even harder to track, but now we got a way to figure it out. But back to Steve. Steve, tell us about KAMO. A little bit about the club, what you guys do, what kind of events you put on, so that people maybe that had never heard about you guys and live close enough could learn a little bit more about what you guys do.
And I feel like I interrupted Steve the first time, so I want to interrupt him again. Steve, just to give you I want to give you a proper introduction. So let's play a little music.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event.
All right, there you go. Sorry about that first one, buddy.
All right. Okay. Well, like say, I'm the head of Kayak Anglers Missouri right now, and the unique part of Kayak Anglers Missouri is we cover the entire state of Missouri. We only fish MDC waters, and we are one of the only clubs I know of that does divisions. So we have novice, intermediate, and advanced divisions. So when you pay to play with us, everybody has a chance on cashing a check. It's not always a big check, but there's a lot of people that's only been fishing for a few months or even a year or two that they compete, and they get to compete against other people in their divisions, which is a really great thing. And like I say, we try to cover the entire state. We'll throw a tournament up in the Northeast and Northwest, and try to hit as much as we can around the state. We have over 100 members. We do a charity tournament every year, or at least try to where the winner wins a swag pack of stuff, and they get to donate the actual money raised to the charity of their choice, as long as it's a legit charity. Last time it was a gentleman did it to gave the money to a battered women's shelter, and so this year it's coming up here, 19, 20, and 21st. We're doing an Ironman charity tournament too. So I mean, it's always amazing when our anglers come together for a good cause for that. And we do an online series, but this particular month, which coincides with your tournament, Drew, is we do this month is a pick two. We call it the Freedom Two, to where our anglers can just get on our Facebook page, they're a member, and they say, hey, I'm going to fish this date. As long as it's before midnight the day before, they get to pick any 2 days they want to fish any MDC lake or any public streams and rivers. And that counts, it's the best 5 fish out of 2 days, and they can do it all over the state. So it really works out well for your tournament.
That's awesome.
And,
I got your website pulled up here.
Yeah, if you join that, you could really run the gauntlet on some prize money. Like if you entered that, you entered all the other events, you could take home a big bag.
Yeah. This is great, man. What a great site too. You got everything kind of updated here, looks like, and that's not easy to do, man. I mean, that's really not easy to do at all, because you're doing it kind of, on a volunteer basis. So having this all as clean as you got it and having an actual website, that's something, man. So kudos to you guys.
I was gonna say we're ran by a board of 7, and it's a non-for-profit organization, and none of us get paid to do it. So, like you say, it takes some work, and we all have regular jobs, so not everything gets updated timely, but we try our best.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, let's see now. How about the waters in this area, the Poplar Bluff area that we have in bounds? Like, do you guys do many events there? Know much about those areas? I know Jesse was over here talking in the comments about the big fish in Wapapello, and there's a 22-incher caught in April, and it sounds like. Yeah, go ahead.
Wapapello's, it's a sleeper lake. It really is. It's got the river aspect to it on the north section, and down a little bit more south, there's a lot of great fishing, and you never know what you're going to get out of there, because the lake floods like 20 foot up and 10 foot down pretty regular during the rainy seasons. It usually always somebody catches a monster out of there. It seems like every tournament we have, somebody just finds the big old fish. It's amazing. I don't know if Clearwater is in your border for that one, but we did a tournament there a few years back, where you could fish either or, and there was a person that did Clearwater and just destroyed everybody else, and it was just mainly because of the type of water that was going on that day between the storms that came in, on how things got muddied up in one place and not the other. It was very unique, and so both of those sections are really great options for anybody that's looking to catch a huge largemouth. I haven't seen a huge smallmouth out of any of them, but the 20+ inch fish and the largemouth are definitely there. If you hit the right sections, no matter what, you're definitely going to have a solid limit of 78 to 85, no matter what. So it definitely has potential. And I know I've fished a couple things with the Drew Gregory River Series back in the day, and I know that the rivers in Missouri are pretty hardcore on throwing up some big fish. So I'm curious to see how it turns out versus somebody picking the flat water options versus the rivers on this one. It's going to be really neat. And I apologize for a little bit late to the game here, but
you're good.
Hopefully we get a lot of anglers from our stuff, to sign up for your thing and truly enjoy it, because there's so many great options down South Missouri.
Yeah, there really are. What's interesting, guys, and it's sort of in a minute when we let you go, I know you got to get back to stuff, but we're going to talk about some tournament day strategy and prep and strategies. And what's interesting is you just said something. Clearwater Lake maybe wasn't as muddy, or maybe vice versa, than Wapapello, and you had a choice between the two. And one of the big parts of making decisions on tournament day is understanding, how water works. Not just, it all is connected, right? From the rain down to the land, and then flowing through into different watersheds, into creeks, bigger rivers. into the lakes, and then out the lakes, they generate water eventually into the ocean, right? If you have to understand how all that works and what a rain is going to do, and that person, maybe they just lucked into, they just were going to Clearwater no matter what, but maybe they also understood that, and they looked at the gauges, and they actually made a conscious decision knowing what that was going to potentially do to the fishing on the other side, Wapapello. And they thought, fishing is all about giving yourself the best odds. It really is. You can't control how long the fish is going to be or the bites per se, but you can give yourself the best odds for success. That's what someone did to win that day. And that's what's cool about the Kayak Adventure Series, because we've thrown that wrinkle. That was a 2 lake wrinkle you had, but we've thrown that in, and it's a whole new game and strategy with all the rivers, creeks. And now we got Duck Creek Conservation Area, the Mingo Wilderness, the Wapapello, Clearwater. So our whole thing is just a new game for kayak anglers, because it might be hard. I'll be honest with you. I think it's kind of hard to compete against remote rivers and creeks on some of these main big lakes that get so much pressure by bass boats constantly. If you have that in bounds with remote rivers and creeks, I think overall you might do pretty darn good on those remote rivers and creeks. But if you start including, like we did in Michigan and at this event and all the other ones, now we got some smaller bodies of water that aren't as hit by the big bass boat trails and all the pressure and all the pings from the sonars and constant fishing. Now you got this cool strategy game that anything could compete, because they don't get as much pressure, the smaller ones. So what do you guys think about that? Or do you have any thoughts on that wrinkle?
Michigan was a good example of a well-balanced thing. So obviously Ryan won up in a river, but think about how many people in the top 10 were on the lake.
Yeah.
I'd say I think the majority were literally just on White Lake, 1 through 2 through 8 were on White Lake, which is crazy. It just kind of showed everyone was like, oh, everyone's going to win in the river. Well, yeah, he did win in the river, but the lakes produced quality numbers. So it was interesting to me. I thought Michigan was a really well-balanced tournament where you saw a little bit of everything going on.
And then to Drew's point, Parker did find that kind of backwater, little lake. It was, So if that had been in play, because in practice, it was cool. And like Drew said, it was less pressured, not somewhere a bass boat's going to go. And he found them in practice. They just didn't hold up for,
it was destiny, man.
Yeah.
Just wait, guys, until we have a big rain right before our event on a Thursday. You know what I'm saying? And none of the rivers will play because they all get blown out.
Don't jinx us.
Yeah. I don't want to jinx us there, but so Steve, do you have any insight on that? I mean, was that just that person randomly went to Clearwater, or did they actually strategically figure out, with the rain and that it was going to be the best odds?
Well, on that particular one, it was a 2-day event, and I think that person pre-fished both lakes prior to it and decided that was the best option. And I know after people saw the numbers on the first day, there was a lot of people that jumped ship from Wapapello, went over to Clearwater, and
of course
gave that a run for the money to try to catch up,
Yeah.
But it didn't stop that gentleman from he destroyed the field. And I heard he was just pretty much in one little cove area with about 100 yards and just stayed there all day long.
Yeah. You just found the juice. I don't know how many inches he won by, but let's say 10. It might have been somewhere, like you just say destroyed the field. It's usually double-digit win, right? So, or close to it.
Yeah.
But this is a great example to talk about one of the differences of the Kayak Adventure Series. And for Angler of the Year, for us, that person who had 85 inches or whatever they had, 88, it doesn't matter. Let's say they had 88 and the second place had 78. They would get a 10-point AOI advantage, because it's the way we do it. Let's say the 100 inches wins. Let's just, for math's sake, for Angler of the Year points, let's say 100 inches is the winner. In second place has 90. The winner always gets 100 because they're setting the bar. Whatever they get, whether it's 85, 102, doesn't matter. It's always 100 points for the winner, right? They're setting, that was 100% what you could possibly do, the best anyone could do that day. And then everyone else, let's say they have 100 inches, the second place has 90, they get 90 Angler of the Year points. That person deserves credit for blowing the field out that much. And on the flip side, if someone has 99 or 99 3/4, and then let's say 4 people have 99 and the winner had 100, the 4 people that have 99 get 99 AOI points because they all had 99 and they they deserve the credit for getting that much. If you drop it by 1 point every time, then it's kind of like, you get a bunch of people stacked up, 10 people are stacked within an inch. And it's like, dang, look how close that person at that bottom was. And it just you kind of get what you kind of earn and deserve. And in this case, this guy kind of deserved, he blew him out, to have a little bit of a jump in that, AOY point. So that's kind of how we do it, by percentages of the winner's total. So, and there's no way you can have tie. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You kind of get what you deserve and what you earn.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but, he won by 44 inches. Well, good Lord. That's a big win. That's about as big as I've ever seen. 44 inches. Good God.
What? Jeez.
Yeah, he dominated.
Yeah, I'd say so. So, but that shows, look how much
he basically won by a micro bag.
Yeah, he did.
A whole micro bag.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it though, look, like I don't know how many people were in this tournament, but let's say you had 30. Okay, so 29 people literally couldn't figure out even close to what this guy did, not even close. So he kind of like deserves that. You know what I mean? That like look how incredible that was. It'd be crazy if the person got 1 point less and so we just do a little different.
What's funny is, so I did the math real quick. So let's say he got 90 and the other person had 50 inches. Yeah. So you just do 50 divided by 90.
Right.
He would have got, second place would have got 55 points.
Yeah.
So first place would have been 100, second place 55, as it should be. And that's an outlier. This isn't going to happen very often, but yeah. And what I like with the scoring, I like when it gets down to maybe 5th or 6th place and there's a steep drop off. Now you're rewarding the 5 anglers that figured it out. 6th place should not get 1 point less if they were, 20 inches behind.
Yeah. So, right. It rewards them. Yeah. It's interesting. And it creates, there's no way there's ties, because it becomes decimal points when you do that division, like you're saying, so that you never have any ties you got to worry about. But anyway, that's just our little weird thing. And it's started with Lance Cooley and his club, Iron City, I think, kayak anglers in Alabama. And they love it there. It's so great. And so anyway, we've adopted it just to be a little bit different. And maybe other people will too. But, if not,
I'm trying to get the Ohio clubs to do it. I'm still working on them.
Yeah, exactly.
That
so
change is hard.
It is. Yeah. Steve knows he's in charge of a club, so he gets it. You bring up a change, it's like anything. In my fantasy football league, just with friends, it's for nothing, basically. It's like $50 buy, and you try to suggest putting a tight end as part of your flex with the running backs and the wide receivers, and everyone just freaks out like, what? There's going to be no good tight ends left on the waiver wire if you do that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Whatever. So, but anything else? Let's see. Okay, so it was 2 day, 167, and then second was 123. That makes sense because they said it was 2 days, so it's easier to win by 44 in a 2 day event than a 1 day.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's still huge. It is
a day.
That's right. So, Steve, here's what we're thinking about. And then we'll let you get going. We know we don't want to take up too much of your time, and we're going to talk about some tournament day strategy. But here's what we're thinking: these watersheds here, they consistently produce good limits in the 80s up to 90 inches, and even above potentially, but in the right times of the year. But it can happen anytime, really. The fish are there. So we're thinking if you give someone, like an extra half day, which we do, it's actually more than a half day. We give them an afternoon session from 3 to 7, all the Kayak Adventure Series anglers. And then on top of that, they fish from, safe light, like 5:30 a.m. as lines in, all the way to 3. So we're talking 9.5 hour long day. So really it's only 2.5 hours shorter than a 2 day, 8 hour day, tournament. So we're thinking, given how much it's nearly a 2 day tournament, plus you got the that's half day in there. You got all these other waters and bounds, rivers, creeks, which is going to spread people out. Let's say we have 100 anglers. With all that water, you're not really going to be cannibalizing. You're not going to be piled on one spot with 4 other people hurting each other's totals. We're thinking this tournament could easily be won in the mid 90s, low mid 90s, easily. I think so.
I don't think that's even a question.
Yeah,
I think it's possible.
So that sounds fun to me. It could be one either species. I think
I'm pretty sure the winner at the 1 day event on Wapello the one I fished last August when it was miserable, everyone thought it was going to be like mid 80s, and then the guy caught, I think he was like 91 and a quarter. So
Yeah, in one day.
and it was like
Well-
literally 90-degree water. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like the fish were coming out pre-cooked. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I heard you say you got Duck Creek area in there, and I tell
Yeah.
you what, if somebody can figure out that Duck Creek, because I've been down there a couple times, if they can figure it out, that place, it's small, but man, those bass are big. It's almost like pond fishing. If you can find a bass and not the pickerel, then
Yeah.
you're on target right there.
Yeah, and it's
So
small,
it's
but
nothing but lily pads and vegetation.
they have grass
and-
pickerel in there.
I just call them all pickerel. I mean, every time
Yeah.
you got something small with teeth that look like pickerel, it's
Yeah,
a pickerel
yeah, I
to
think
me.
they're
I have
grass
no idea.
pickerel. I'm glad you told me that. I might go try to get one. I've never caught one in Missouri.
yeah. Did you guys yeah, definitely get over there and catch one.
There's snakehead.
That's
in
a place
there,
to do it. That's a place to do it. Someone, they said there's snakehead,
Yeah, they've
especially
been
once you get.
catching snakehead below Wapello Dam and in Duck Creek. So they're
Yeah,
adults
that's
too,
the
which is not
liquids
great.
thing.
I've never caught one. Maybe I can cross it off my bucket list.
Mean,
But
dude.
yeah, that'd be cool. The thing I was going to say about Duck Creek, it's small, but the entire, like every acre of every like inch of that place is habitat. Unlike Wapapello or some big lake in Clearwater out in the middle, it's just you're in 75 foot, 80 foot, 90 foot. I mean, yeah, there's roaming shad out there that you could find some bass on with live scope, but essentially it's not cover and structure. You know what I mean? It's open water. You get below the water column at some point, there's no oxygen. It's just dead water, most of it. So here, Duck Creek is smaller, but all of it is potential because it's shallow habitat and it's different. Cypress, lily pads, hydrilla, probably, all the grass. So that's going to be very interesting to see if someone can be patient enough and pull out a big one from there. So I think mid 90s, maybe next week we'll actually get our predictions in, but next week will actually be the virtual captains meeting. So I don't even know if anyone else, Jake, you and Billy will be on with me or not. You're welcome to, obviously, but that's more like an informational meeting. I'm going to
That'll
say
be
now,
at the end of us. I think we're going on an adventure on Wednesday, so we can hop on together. And
yeah, we'll hop on together. Yeah, we'll be at the hotel together there. I think I'm going to say like 94 and a half. That's what I'm going to say. So that's just my first reaction.
I caught more than that on a water inbounds, literally the same time that we're going there. I caught 96 and a half in a water inbounds. So
someone prove me wrong. Hit 100, get a cross kick century belt. We get those.
I'm not saying where because I'm not going to give it away, but the area is inbounds on one of these. So throw a dart and find it.
So someone could be wearing this, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I mean that was only on one day. So imagine if you had that little bonus 4 hours. Could I have found that elusive 20? So
yeah, potentially. Hey, actually, before I forget, while I'm sitting here looking at these pictures we have preloaded, I want to shout out Glenda, who fishes our events, because she has reached out to the Missouri stream team, and they're actually donating the bags. So instead of using the yellow AFCO bags, which hopefully AFCO will send us some more, because every one of those bags, they also send a $25 gift card. So I don't know if they can afford to send us any more, but we collected a lot of trash in Georgia, and I'm trying to find new ways to do it, or a bag to utilize. And the stream team, the Missouri stream team, I think it was the Missouri Smallmouth Alliance. She did it through. So we want to highlight them and thank them for all their efforts. So we're going to be cleaning up trash. We will be giving away a $100 gift card to Omnia Fishing to the 2 anglers who pull in the most unique or the most trash. And we'll have a spot back on Saturday at our festival where that trash is supposed to be dumped. Tomorrow on Wednesday's live stream, next Wednesday, I'll let you guys know where that location is going to be. So where you'll drop that off
we
on.
lose Steve?
We might have lost Steve.
We might. And then the other thing I was going to plug a little bit on the trash as well. There's been some interesting stories come out where people are pulling these kayaks or a tire or whatever. If you have your GoPro going, please feel free to upload the video of you. Steve's back. Get that on GoPro. Pulling out that.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. It's gonna be really hard to top the kayak. Someone found
it is. Two of them. I mean,
and then they also found a giant, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like an oar, but it was like one you would see on the ocean.
Yeah, that's weird.
Not the Flint River. So
yeah,
very strange.
There's a kiddie pool in there. My father-in-law, I don't have a picture of it, got a battery,
I mean, to be
car
honest,
battery.
we should have saved that journey, that Sun Dolphin. I'm sure we could
Yeah.
have salvaged it.
Yeah, probably could have. Actually, someone did take that because they had the exact kayak. Their son fished the event out of the exact kayak, and they took it for parts.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say
actually,
you could use that plastic for something. I mean,
Yeah.
repair a hole or.
so Jesse's saying that the stream, she might have some stream team bags, and they're, I don't know how many they're donating to us. That Glenda's worked it out with them. They've got a lot coming. Probably enough, but if not, good to know, Jesse, that we got some extra bags for you. You guys will get those at opening ceremonies on Thursday. And
Is there any chance that you guys are going to be at the event for Kamo?
Oh yeah,
there's a good chance that there's going to be. Well, Jesse will probably be there. If I can get off work, I'll be there. I'll be there I'll probably be there for at least, Friday and Saturday, but I don't know if I can do Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to get off all these extra days.
It is. And no worries. We got.
You should fish it. It'll be fun.
Oh, trust me, if I can fish it, I'll be there.
Yeah,
awesome.
And she's saying 90 inches. So we'll see if 90 inches is what it is, or if 94.5, or like Jake's saying, it's above that. We will find out.
I don't think it's crazy to see someone pull out 95 inches. I really don't. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Obviously, there's a lot of variables in play here, but for me to see that, I wouldn't be surprised. I know what lurks in literally every one of those waters, and I saw people pulling 20s out of the current last weekend in front of 1,000 floaters. So clearly, those smallmouth aren't bothered by people drinking beer in inner tubes. So
they're not. So Jesse's going to con her job into letting her off. So I love that. So we're promoting deception at your workplace here, guys. The Kayak Adventure Series. Well, Steve, man, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you there on Saturday, if nothing else. Friday, the only thing that's officially going on is that Bass University brunch, which the anglers can, register to get breakfast. And I'm going to speak there and do a seminar. Jeff Little may do one. We actually have a special guest that might still be coming. A potential Major League Fishing pro that might do one. So we'll see if that works out.
I might even do a little bonus thing with some
and Jake's
kayak recording. So
the GoPro tips and tactics. So that's only happening that morning. Then they fish from 3 to 7. Nothing happens that evening except for a live stream like this where I update the standings heading into day 2. So if you want to show up, and for anyone that's KAMO that is just learning about this and watching this, it's a 5 fish over 2 days. So in other words, you don't even have to fish Friday. It's just an afternoon session. A lot of people may not be able to, but even if you can, most people that end up winning or placing kind of cull out the fish they caught on Friday anyway, which kind of makes Friday mood. Obviously, it's nice to have that extra 4 hours, but because it's just 5 fish, you're not out of it. And if you can't fish Friday, or you do bad on Friday, there is that big prize. It's like a $400 or $500 prize from Dark Horse Tackle, where it's the day 2 dark horse, whoever moves up the most places. So if you don't do well and you got 0, you're obviously at the bottom, and you've got the best odds to now win that prize. So, and potentially still win the whole event because you got 9.5 hours.
We even had a dude who could only fish Friday and ended up being, I think he was the last person in the money at Michigan, which is crazy. He didn't even fish Saturday.
Wow.
So
it sounds to me like y'all have it set up to where almost anybody can win a prize anyways, paying down to 20 some places. And I'm like Dark Horse. And then, I mean, you got lots of great options to walk away with something no matter what.
And I know that we gave away just 3 random prizes on stage from the Michigan Kayak Anglers, MKA. They gave away, I think, up 2 batteries, and I want to say a combo, and then we gave away a Yak Attack package from Water Dog that was worth like a ton. Like that thing was wild. How much stuff you put in that thing? Yeah,
well over 1,000. So it'll be fun, and we'll see you guys there, and look forward to it. And last thing I'll say is don't forget the team division is only $75 an angler. So if you don't have the money, there's a lot. I get it, guys. If you're local, paying KAMO or what's your event, that 2-day thing is actually the deadline's already done for that one. But you guys have other stuff going on.
Actually,
is that not true?
The 2-day event, we let people sign up for a week into the month right now because we had a lot of stuff stacked on each other back to back. And a lot of people forget to sign up before that thing. So we gave an extra week
But-
for people to sign
Oh,
up. So
perfect.
we're going to have more people are signing up for that every day all the way up until this weekend. So
Perfect. Send
I had
me
a
the link
question
for
about
that, if you
that.
don't mind. Send me the link so we can get on the
What do you got?
website.
Someone
go ahead, Jake.
asked, so obviously there's a lot of events going here. We've got the Moyak joint event with us. Someone asked about if the Camo event, do you need to be a member to join that one?
Camo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Camo, we do charge a membership fee. We used to charge a one-time fee, or we've done it different ways over the years, and it was just easier to do the $30 for the entire year. Most anybody that does join, they still do the online events throughout the year. So we do charge a $30 membership fee, and it is good for the entire year to fish the onlines and the on-site series. And if you do three of our on-sites, then you also get to fish the classic, which we have some great prizes for that too. Yes.
That's awesome.
Okay. And that's just, it's July 7th is the deadline, and you just pick 2 days to
There you
fish
go.
for that event?
Yep. You pick 2 days, and like I say, you can pick them whenever you want, as long as it's midnight before the day you're going to fish. You just pick your 2 days, and you submit your fish, and best 5 out of your 2 days.
Cool.
Awesome. Yep. We'll post that link to that
So even
on our site.
More opportunities to take home a big payday. So.
For sure. And then, like I said, if you do feel like that's a lot on your plate, which hopefully you guys realize if you're local and you're, local enough to join KMO or the Moyak or whatever, you got the best odds to win this thing. You know what I mean? It's new water, different for them. They're not used to this same kind
and
of
Moyak waived their membership fees for the double dip. So you can just sign up like you are a member. There's no extra fees, which means if you triple dip with Camo, Moyak, and KAS, you're really hitting that roulette wheel.
Yeah, for sure. And then and if it's too much, just do team only. It's $75 a person to make the $150 entry fee. So that's 2-man team is not that bad, but the $150 for the individual, it's definitely, when you add that plus 75 for team, if you're doing both, plus Moyak and Camo, it's going to add up. But just remember, you got the best odds, and we're paying out down to 28 places right now. So even if you're in one of those last places, you're just getting $100. That's like your entry fee back, for nearly. Right. But we're up to 40. We have 10 more places to get to 50, and the first 50 anglers get I'm looking at them right now, a $100 gift bag from our sponsors product. So between the $100 gift bag and potentially winning one of those last $100 gift cards from Eco or Midwest, or cash from the Crocagator, I mean, you're pretty much, you got good odds is what I'm saying. So you guys, let's show out in Missouri. Let's show the rest of the country what we can do in that Ozarks region, and try to get up to 100+ anglers, because someone's going to win. I forget what our payout chart is. It's on our website, but at 100+ anglers, I can look at it now. I think that gets, I'll pull it up right now. Let's look at it.
It's pretty big.
It's $4,000 for 100+ anglers in the individual division. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun event, guys. So let's make it happen. Let's try to bust 100. Thanks again, Steve.
Oh, thank y'all. Thank y'all very much.
All right. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. That was cool.
Yeah.
Very nice guy, man. He's got a cool thing going over there.
Yeah. And the website, anyone that joined a little bit later, we showed the website at the beginning. It's organized. So if you have any questions about the Camo, just go on their website.
It's impressive, for sure. Very impressive. And the fact they have different divisions, like intermediate, beginner. I did that one a few years. Like he said, he actually fished some of the river bass and stuff, which is very cool. Where I had what was called the casual angler division. And if you won a casual angler division, then you ended up like not being able to fish that division again the rest of the year, because you've kind of like elevated out. You see what I'm saying? You can't just sit there and like keep winning and dominating that division. So once you won one, you were out. And maybe it was even like if you finished top 5 in one or top 3. So it kept that division where it really was just these casual anglers, and no one can like, go in there and cherry pick some expert and go just win all the money from that. Now it was like $30 to enter, 40. It was really, you weren't winning a whole lot. So we made a big difference.
I was thinking that when I see, like, I heard recently, I don't know how many NASCAR fans we have, but like Kyle Busch was talking about running the truck series and just to try to win it. And I'm like, is that fair? Should Kyle Busch be out there running those trucks? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. Should your Bassmaster Elite Series angler go to your local Thursday nighter. I mean, nothing against it, but I mean, is it like? I mean, they're winning more often than not. You know what I mean? It's like
it's a double-edged sword because it's fun for the anglers to compete against that person. Like, what if you do beat them?
Exactly.
Bragging, right?
Yeah. So you always got that.
And they have a really cool. I really think that 2-day thing they're doing is really cool. They've got 25 anglers signed up.
Nice.
Currently, I'm thinking
awesome.
maybe I'll sign up for that. Maybe I'll fish. I'll just fish a Wednesday and then fish another random day.
Curious, like, how do you pick your day? Is that something through
82 days in July? These days do not have to be consecutive. So,
dude, let me ask you guys this: do you think I don't fish these events because I set up the rules, the boundaries, and all that stuff? But do you think it's would look bad on me or wrong on me to fish any of these local joint events that are in it, like along with us, sort of thing, like a 2-day July for this?
No
KAMO or
that's what I was about to say. It's like maybe I'll sign up for, and I need to clarify if we can fish like the river because it looks like it says you can. Maybe when we go out Wednesday, I'll fish one of those days for that event. You know,
it's not a bad idea, man.
And then like if I go out with Jonathan on a different day, I'll fish my second day.
Yeah.
On one of those lakes. So
right. I just yeah.
Oh wait, tried to hit it.
Oh, there you go. She said we can fish a river.
You're welcome. There you go.
So
all right,
that's
maybe,
cool.
maybe I'll do that.
Maybe I'll do that too because I'm always up for a little. It sucks kind of like running this thing and being. I just know I could never like fish it without someone thinking like,
who knows, that little honey hole we found might be.
You never know.
Of 20 inch.
But I would like to fish some of that stuff because see now back in the day with river bass, and here's something cool that I did for a few years. It was fun. I did a beat Drew prize. I would go out and fish earlier in the week, like Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's not the same day. So it's not, and there's not everybody else on the water potentially, cannibalizing fish with me, but it would still like show like what the fishery could produce. Right. When I did this in Michigan, I didn't like actually measure 5 fish, but I caught a 20 3/4. I measured that one. I know I measured 18.5, and I was throwing a top water that doesn't have good hookup ratio just because I didn't really want to catch everyone. I know I'd catch more with the spinnerbait or chatterbait. And I did. I switched for like 30 minutes. I switched to a spinnerbait and literally hooked up on every fish that bit. Unlike the top water, I just love watching them just blow up on it. I was just having fun, but I think I could have got around what Parker did, if not more, pretty easily because I did it in a very short time. I had that amount already. Again, different day, different conditions. You can't compare, but it still gives people, it's a good litmus test to the area and what it can produce. And it was an extra prize. Like if you can beat what I get, then you're going to get extra like money or prizes or something. So it was kind of fun. So I missed that, like getting a chance to kind of fish in a little bit of a competitive way, So Jake, maybe we'll do something like that next year. Since you and I don't fish the events, maybe you and I can go out as a team and as individuals and see what we can put up.
Yeah.
And then there's these prizes that go along, correspond with it.
Because we could have had a pretty good bag there on the White River. I mean, if we really wanted to, we could have really worn that spot out.
But. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But anyway, all right. Well, let's see. Well, yeah, Steve, I agree. I'm not gonna. Are you saying Steve Baker saying yes? It would look bad. Boy, duck it. I'm not fishing the KAS. Or maybe he's agreeing with me when I was saying, yeah, I'm not gonna fish those. I think obviously that would never work.
Steve's
I've
like,
got too much to do.
He's like, I don't want Drew in there.
but so Jonathan says Moyak will take my money. Yeah, we'll see about that. My wife and kids aren't coming anymore, so I actually have a chance, or I probably could go and actually fish enough time to put up a decent amount. Not like I'm never gonna have 2 days there or whatever, but if I fish the Moyak event's actually just Saturday, so I can't even fish that one because that's this 2-day thing that they're doing with this KAMO. It would work because I could just fish the days that we're out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I already got 2 days planned, so I think I might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, for anyone that thought Drew was going to fish on the Friday or Saturday, that's not happening. Like there's so much going on behind the scenes. So yeah, you're talking about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause Billy was like, Jake, why don't you fish? And I was like, no, dude, you don't understand. I don't think it's possible.
And I found out.
And then he comes back he comes back Saturday from Michigan, and I'm like, I'm done. I got it all done. He's like, really? And it's just like he sat down, and Billy just got to sit in the captain's chair and didn't have to worry about
Run the
making these
show.
slides.
Well,
because that's the hard part. It's just so much busy work. It's not that it's like, challenging. It's just like, okay, who caught this fish? Who caught that fish? Who's the day 2 dark horse?
Yeah.
Who's the female angler? It's like all
that stuff. The Missouri fishing app is something you guys should be downloading, because apparently that's the waters you can fish. And I didn't know there was a Missouri fishing app. So let's download that, everybody.
It's
for this
decent.
event.
It's not bad. But I mean, so it has to be a Missouri Department of Conservation managed thing. Does that not count for like the current river, which is technically a Ozark Scenic River or a scenic riverway? So it's
National?
federally managed, right? National Scenic Riverway.
I'm sure that still counts, but she'll chime in here. But Steve's saying he always wants to beat me. Of course, man. Of course. I always want to beat you too, buddy. Want to beat everybody. And then
Steve's
when it's all
like,
over,
I'm never letting the Illinois River thing go. He's gonna chase you till the end.
Yes, that was a fun event, man. There's no doubt the fish were there, and Steve and I were both on the right deal. And that just shows how the fine line of fishing goes sometimes, man. It's insane, like how this sport is. So, I mean, we see it all the time with, look at Cliff Prince. He won the Bassmaster event. The next one, he's almost dead last. It's just, dude, fishing is tough. Now we've gone a long time. We've already hit this point. We could still do 20 minutes on tournament strategy if you guys want. I might have to bounce out just for a second to go pick up this bike that's coming when they text me that it's here. That Ubco bike. But the only thing I would say to start it off, and you guys can continue on, and whenever I have to bounce for a second, is my philosophy on tournament day strategy is this. Okay, winning, we've already talked a little bit about, how winning in fishing isn't first place. It's actually just getting a check or being in that top 25%, let's say. That's like a win. That's good AOI points, even if you're not getting a check. Winning is just being in the top. Really cashing a check is what most people would consider winning, because you can't control. It's like some things are a little bit hard to control, but being consistently in the money or in the top 25% is very hard. So winning to me is I set up a tournament day strategy where I can at least increase my floor. So I can get, best odds to get in that top 25% if I happen to get the right bite or land that fish, that big one. And sometimes they get off. So if you happen to land that big one or two, boom, I'm up in the top 5 or winning, right? But I always want to give myself a good floor, a spot that has lots of good numbers to where I'm consistently getting a limit. In Bassmaster events, you continually see, Major League Fishing Bassmaster weight events that are done by weight. You'll see anglers in a 4-day tournament that their total will not be 20 fish. Sometimes it'll be 19 or 18. You're like, dang, that guy's in he cashed a check and he had 2 less fish than everybody else. That is possible in weight events. In length events, it is not possible. It's not going to happen, because when you lose a whole 12-inch fish, or what, our minimum's 10, but a whole, like, you're just not making that up. You know what I mean? Like when you catch an 8-pounder and you got a 1-pounder on your 5-fish limit, like your total weight's not that much different. You lost it. Let's say you didn't
like
catch
2 3-pounders basically, right? It's
Yeah.
like it balances out.
Yeah. So you lose so you got 4 fish, and your last fish that you would have had on there would have been a 1-pounder. You lost 1 pound. It doesn't change where you're going to go that much, but 12 inches is a lot. So in kayak fishing, what you have to do is increase your ability to make sure you get a limit both days. If it's a 2-day tournament, if it's 1 day, obviously just make sure you got a limit spot somewhere you can catch a limit. It's like break glass in case of emergency, right? But I'm always in pre-fishing practice looking for the grand slam home run spot, the winning spot, the juice, because I really am trying to find that first. And then of course, look for some places that, fall back for a limit, which in my mind is generally you go into some smaller, skinnier water, you're going to find less pressured fish, but they may not be big. You know what I mean? But at least it's a limit. They're probably a little easier to catch. So I will say, I'll leave you guys and then let you guys talk about some stuff with this thought. My brother, when he drove a semi truck, he always said, you only got like 6 inches on either side of the lines, right? They're so wide, semi trucks. And he's like, they always teach you to always have an out, like always know where you're going to go. If you blow a tire, if something happens in front of you, just always have and out, like wherever you're driving, a shoulder to pull off on, whatever. Always know where you're going to go, what's going to happen, like the brake glass in case of emergency example. So I always have a strategy on where I start the day, where I finish the day based on that. Like, and it obviously varies, and we'll talk about it more on here a little bit right now, but it could be that I start somewhere that's my limit spot just to get that out of the way and feel good. But it also could be I start on my juice during the low light conditions, because sometimes in the morning of low light, which is different for the afternoon sesh, right? Because there is no low light. It might get better later. So you might start in your limit spot first just to get that monkey off your back and fish a little freer. So let's see. The guy just messaged me about that bike. Let me see if he's coming. You guys can kind of touch on that and see what kind of your strategies are and planning. But because the last thing I'll say on this before you go, though, is actually, I forgot, because our tournament's done the way it's done, you can now launch wherever is public. Bassmaster tournaments, you got to launch it, designated launches. But because we have anywhere that's public, you can launch. It gives you the chance to take out anywhere, so you don't have to go back to your ramp, which saves time. You could take out a different place you put in, as long as you set up a shuttle with a buddy or whatever, and then drive to another spot where you could put in at a bridge and you're fishing right away, right there, somewhere that maybe no one else is at or found or whatever. So you can quickly make these moves, just like a Bassmaster Pro will take a 250 horsepower motor and move to just quickly. And he's like, they got 10 minutes left in the run-in for 2 minutes, and they drop the troll motor quick, and they're there fishing a spot they know they can get bit. And it's crazy. You can do those kind of moves and move 4, 5, 6 times, like I've done in tournaments when the rules were like that, and save your butt and still stay in the game to keep your floor high, to get top 25% and maybe cash a check. So, let's see. You guys go ahead. I'm going to see what this guy's saying.
Well, I had one thing that I was going to add. I know Jake has like a ton of experience with this stuff, so I'll keep mine more to like some of the local stuff. But after running a local trail and judging a lot of fish, the biggest tournament day strategy I would give to anyone is fish to the very end. I am still surprised how many people I see taken off the water, 15, 20 minutes, 10 minutes early. And then I'm seeing these fish that are submitted. And as a judge, you can see the time the photo was taken. And you're like, oh my gosh, 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left. They caught a kicker, or they had a,
game of inches, literally.
Yeah. And
big bass is huge.
I lost a 20-inch smallmouth at La Crosse at the boat with like 15 minutes ago. That fish would have changed everything, because a 20-inch fish at La Crosse is huge. To put in perspective, Drew got big bass in that event with a 1975. So
I won this, guys. You know the reason I won this? The TOC, right? Angler of the Year at the TOC that year. I actually won it because I had a fish that was I think it was lines out, was whatever time, like 2 o'clock or something, and it was, or 3 o'clock, it was like 2:57 on the timestamp on my pictures. And I caught a smallmouth that cold on the Holston River, and because it was based in that area, whatever, Knoxville or something. And I caught it, and it moved me up enough places. I finished 7th in the event, but I won AOI because of that fish. Like literally, because Jody and Russ we were in the top 3, and it leapfrogged me up, because it was tough fishing, late November, and Jody and Russ each one of the days didn't get a limit. So that again, it goes to show how important that limit is, right? And it moved me up, and I won that just last minute. So that's a good tip. Just fish till the end. You never know, because big bass, don't forget, is like around $650 worth of stuff between Boondocks and Yak Attack gift cards. Plus, if you're running your GoPro, which whatever, I got some right here. This is a Hero 4 old school. But if you're running a GoPro and you get that biggest bass, there you go. That's the better example. The biggest bass on GoPro, if you get that on the biggest bass of each event, it's going to get a Hero 11 Black or whatever the current newest actually Hero 12 now. Sorry, I think we have Hero 12s, the latest version. So it could be literally $1,000+ fish if you're.
And remember, the biggest, like you said, the biggest bass caught on the GoPro. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be the big bass winner. It's if the winner didn't get it on GoPro, who's next?
That's right. Not anymore, doesn't. And
this does not include the GoPro Epic Edit. So there's tons of opportunities here.
Yeah. Whoever's got the best edit of the event will definitely win and you guys put that edit together. You got almost a month to do it until our next event at what's our next one? Pennsylvania, Susquehanna. Yeah. So the Fiesta on the Susky. So you got a month So
And I like the tip that you gave last week, Drew, where you talked about it can be like cast to catch. It doesn't need to be like fun edits, like all the music and transitions. That's
Like,
good,
look
but
at
that's not
Edie's
everyone's jam. So yeah,
yep. And this
Edie's
is
catch is a prime example of
it is.
it's like she's just happy. She's just
Yeah.
captured a authentic
Awesome.
moment is what I like to call them.
or John
Exactly.
Dalton catching
Yeah.
rock bass, and I've never
Mm.
I'll watch his videos all day.
He's excited. Yeah. I mean, and all you got to do, guys, is tag at GoPro on Instagram and at Kayak Adventure Series, and boom, you're in also for their and you could do this anytime. The other prize, where it's $1,000 in cash at the end of the year for the most, like you said, Jake, the best, maybe it could be a short edit or authentic moment. Tag GoPro, tag Kayak Adventure Series, and I'm going to give you guys a little secret like hint here or tip. This is the first year of the Kayak Adventure Series. So can you imagine how many people are going to be entering this in 5 years? How many submissions are going to be? And GoPro is probably just going to keep it the same, $1,000 if they're, if they're all still a part of this and we're doing it right. And the first year fantasy fishing from FLW Tour, way back in the day, they were giving away all kinds of rods and reels and prizes. And I entered fantasy fishing, and I was like picking Gerald Swindle. I know he's good, and all these good guys back in the FLW Tour. And I literally in college was winning, and they would just send me reels winning all this stuff. I'm like, dude, and it's because not as many people were in it yet because it was still the very, very beginning of fantasy fishing. So this is your best odds to win. So get those cameras rolling and tag Kayak Adventure Series, tag GoPro. You want $1,000 plus the latest GoPro, which will be, I say the latest because in October there'll be a new version out, and it is awesome. They showed it to me, so don't forget to do that. But back to tournament day strategies. Let's think about. So one thing I was going to bring up was plan your you got to learn and understand how long it takes to do a 4-mile float. And a 4-mile float on a creek in the spring when it's swift is different than a 4-mile float on the Susquehanna where you could zigzag all day long and never even make it 4 miles by the end of the day. So you got to know how long it takes you to do that so that you have your car ready there, your vehicle ready if you're doing a shuttle, or if you're doing a loop around the island or a down one side of the river and back up the other side sort of thing. Know how long that takes and set timers on your phone. Keep yourself on pace. I do that all the time. I'll set timers. If I'm going to go to this other spot and maybe there's 2 reasons you would bounce, right? You bounce because you crushed it in your spot and you want to leave that juice for tomorrow and leave some fish for tomorrow, which isn't really necessary in the KAS because it's just 5 fish over 2 days.
Right.
You don't need to save fish, but in a 2-day tournament you do. Or if you're pre-fishing, you do. Obviously you want to save them. Don't catch them all in practice. But I set timers and know if I'm going to bounce, it's either because I've crushed it and I want to save fish, or if I know how, if I'm going to another place and I know it's a mile of shoreline, you have to know as an angler how long it takes you to fish that new spot you're going to.
Because you could miss it.
Yeah.
Right. You could just not make it there in time.
Not make it in time, or you could give yourself too much time there. You didn't leave yourself enough time at your other spot.
Right.
You got to know so you map everything out the night before on your phone. How far is your drive? I give myself 10 minutes to load and unload, and I don't even need that much really. Once I load it, I think I can do a little quicker, but I give myself 10 minutes. So I got to leave at this time, 10 a.m. I got to leave. If I'm going to go to this other spot, it's going to take me 10 minutes to load. And I've already mapped the drive. It's going to take me 40 minutes to get there. I mean, I've driven an hour and a half in the middle of a tournament from the north side of Lake Champlain to the south side in the middle of the tournament. And it's because I crushed it on the north side in my spot. And I wanted to go explore and see what was at the south side because I had a big bite down in the area on the south side of the lake in practice. And I was like, let's go see what's really, really there now that I missed that fish. So I saw it. It wasn't that good. Once I spent 2 hours there, I was like, oh, thank God I made that drive and found out now it's worthless. I'm going to spend all my time up north now on the next day. So I learned something that saved me time from doing that drive the next day. So something was figured out. More pieces of the puzzle were figured out. So you got to map it all out, figure it all out, work backwards. Often just work backwards.
Did that in a tournament, the last river tournament. We planned out a giant float where there was some juicy sections here, not so juicy sections here, and then like the juice at the end, right? And it was a long float. It was like 18 miles, but there was like a ton of dead water, and we needed to get to the end before it lines out, which is at 6. We didn't plan properly, so guess what? We didn't get to fish any of that stretch really at the end, and we're going by it, looking at it, going like, man, we really messed up. This looks so much better. we fished a lot of dead water we shouldn't have, and then we didn't get to where we wanted to go. So especially on those long foots, like you gotta be moving. Like you can't spend a million years in one spot, especially on the river. Like it's just
Then you got to know eventually you got to figure out what's juice and what's not, and have the discipline. That's what the key is, the discipline to stop casting. Even though it all looks good in a river and creek, let's face it all looks good on a lake like Lake Caddo, or name a lake that's just got cypress trees everywhere, right? Like Sam Rayburn, somewhere that's got vegetation, and Toledo Bay.
Well, like Gunnersville's like that. It's like, oh, there's grass here, there's grass there. Well, Cross, same way, grass here, grass there. But does it have current? Does it have bait fish? Does it have, a plan B for the fish? Because fish want a plan B, it's like,
so. You got to figure that out. There are little differences to the cypress trees I was catching them on in Caddo one time that they don't all, at the very beginning when you're pre-fishing or early on in the tournament, you actually don't know the differences until you fish hard all day and you're casting at everything. Then you start to figure out, wait a second, I'm getting bit on the same similar thing that, it shares in common. And then you just start running to that juice constantly. Just leave everything alone. Let everyone else just continue just to cast randomly without a plan or process. And you just run to the juice. So that's a good point too. And then you just work backwards. When your lines out time is, when your photo upload time is, and we give you guys an hour and 15, actually an hour and a half on Friday. So when you need to have signal, if that's an issue, and just work backwards and also learn to use the 30 minutes of time beforehand. If you've got a location that takes you a while to motor or paddle to, use that at your very first spot of the day. So you can at least the 30-minute window, you've got to paddle or motor, it's not burned during line's end time. At least only 30 minutes of it would be burned if you actually leave and have to go back to the ramp, if it takes you 30 minutes to get there. And then the same thing at the end of the day, you can die in a place. Know that I need 30 minutes to fish this spot, or an hour. Know that even though it might take you 30 or 45 minutes to get there with 30 minutes left. That way, all you're doing is just giving it what you need, the time you need at the very end to hit it. And then you can kill the time, the 30, 45 minutes to get back after line's out, and you didn't waste line's in time. So stuff like that's always smart to do, and it'll kind of increase that floor. I mean, I moved one time at lacrosse. The rule is you got to launch, just like us, you got to be either wade fishing tethered to your kayak or in your boat. So you can't just pull up to a bridge and walk down and, fish it. You got to unload the boat, which is great to have a small little inflatable or a little ultralight, like a Crescent ultralight, something like that, like a new canoe, the smallest little 10-footer, the Flint, something like that. You could just, that's a strategy. A viable strategy is running to these small creek bridges, especially with microbagging, and going. And I think I hit six places one time at lacrosse in a day.
Jeez.
So it's possible just to hit a bunch of different bridges and creeks and spots, and just you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. You're just hitting certain juice. And
those big fish get in those. Look at what Ryan did in practice. He got that giant smallmouth out of the most unassuming little creek. So,
yep, absolutely. So it can happen. It could, certain times of the year they could play, or certain water conditions they could play. A rain event, right? Muddy high, the smallest creeks clear up first. The bigger rivers, especially below tail races, which are in play at a lot of our events. If the main lake is muddy and it just rained, the tail race is still going to be clear, trying to get all that water out of until that muddy water makes its way through the lake. So all these cool elements of strategy are in play at the Kayak Adventure Series. And that's what I love, is seeing you guys have to understand the entire watershed and what's happening with even the man-made stuff like the dams and how that interacts with nature and the natural, rainfall, and trying to figure out, where some fishable water is where you can catch some bass. And it's just fun. We'll see what happens. I'm thinking, 94.5 guys. It's at Ozarkana. And then soon, guys, we're going to be talking about the Fiesta on the Susky very soon. That's going to start coming up in our conversation. So we're getting close.
Oh yeah. And that's early August. So it's, the second week, but yeah, once we get there, it's gonna move fast. Yeah.
And I've been looking at some of that water inbounds up there, and that river is obviously, it's still the Susky, but it's different. It's just different up there. I don't really know how to explain it, but there's some really cool water inbounds for that event, especially up in New York, because the northernmost boundary is technically, past the state line in New York. And That area up there just looks like
Yeah,
crazy.
it
Looks
is crazy.
It's all
I see you, Matt. Bring the kayak series to the New River. Well, one day, dude. One day we'll be there. One day. We already announced that South Boston Bassathon for South Boston, Virginia. So you can probably guess it won't be next year because that's kind of our event in that region. But a lot of waters and bounds are very similar to the New Rivers on that one. So that's going to be fun.
The New River's pretty sporty, isn't it?
Some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah.
That always scares me with a tournament.
Yeah.
Because the one thing you never want to happen is to be like, oh, you know, so-and-so flipped and the DNR had to come pull him out of the river. And it's like, well, that's not a good look.
No, we'll be, if we ever go there, those are the events that'll always be happening in, you know, probably like June, July, August, the lower, like the Susquehanna happens for a reason. And, you know, July
Let's
and
do
August.
an April event there. That'll really.
That would be, Hunter Maddox says he could see 94 inches. If Wapapello is fishing how it's fishing right now. So, you know, and he's a 17-year-old entering the event and he's excited, been practicing. So, you know, a little juice if you're still here on at the very end of the live stream that, I mean, Wapapello has got him. You know, we've touched on all these bodies of water for Ozarkana and touched a little bit on some tournament day strategy and prep work. So we'll just talk about the last things I'll do before we leave here is just the last thing I want to talk about for tournament day strategy and prep is specifically for Kayak Adventure Series. This applies to other events too, I guess, Bassmaster, everything else, but I would have everything as ready as possible, like beforehand. I mean, like from your house now, extra baits you need to rig, lines and rods and reels spooled up, everything you can do. Cause the goal on tournament day, especially Friday being a very tight window, you finish at 7, let's say you got, 20 minutes to get loaded up, you drive in 30 minutes. So that's like an hour back to your house. You got to get dinner. You got to get showered. You got to charge batteries. Just be as prepared as you can with anything you can do beforehand, making your lunch for the next day, anything possible, which is why I just bring a can of like Campbell's chunky soup and then pop it. It just saves me time right there. So anything you can get done, get it done. Cause the name of the game is sleep as soon as possible, because that's going to be an early morning for 5:30 a.m. lines in 5 o'clock. You know, you can get on the water. So you need to be at your amp at 4:30. You're waking up at 3 something, dude. Let's face it. That's going to be a tough one. So
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sleep I know it sounds crazy, but at La Crosse, I had an hour and 20-minute drive to my ramp because I was crazy. And I'm like, I'm going to Minnesota. I was like, all right, have fun. It's like, got to drive all the way up there. And we were staying in Iowa. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the key. Just get it all done beforehand as much as you can possible. Prepare for
it. That was something I was going to say. We're kind of running long, so I didn't want to like chime in a ton, but like I just did a video of this on my YouTube talking about my 4 rod system. And it isn't a catch-all. It doesn't cover every base. But when I was at Gunnersville, why would I bring more than 4 rods when I knew that there was 3 things I wanted to throw? A frog, a topwater, a chatterbait, and then like a wild card rod. I always bring a wild card rod. If that's a big swim bait, a Cinco, you know, something on the end of the spectrum. I'm not going to bring another rod. They can't throw something light or heavy because like you got to know, like you got to cover your bases. But honestly, like I think you could bring 3 rods if you're really dialed in.
Well, Jake brings 4 rods because he always wants to leave one in the water.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I did find out that one of my rods floats though, so you know maybe that's like a starter rod now. Like that's like in the starting lineup always because I'm always going to drop it. You know,
that's true. That's true. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we about covered it. Unless you guys got anything else, we will see everyone next week on Wednesday's official.
Yeah, I'm just over here looking at Duck Creek, dude. I'm thinking about going.
Yeah. I mean, it all looks juicy, man. It does. So the official Need to Know live stream is next Wednesday. We do it in the evening during tournament day. So tournament week.
All right. Well, see you guys next week. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Stay safe. Come back next week with all win of your fingers.
And
yes,
you want to
be guys.
Short, you want to be shallow.
See ya.
You want to go up the creek. That is sophisticated.